Against the tense night sky of Yemen in 2025, a technological ghost appeared, forcing the U.S. MQ-9 Reaper squadron to immediately open fire. A Hellfire missile streaked toward its target, striking it perfectly, but instead of exploding and obliterating the target, there was only silence on the infrared screen. So, how does the U.S. eliminate an enemy when its most powerful weapon worth hundreds of thousands of dollars fails to detonate? Below it, at an altitude of 25,000 feet, two MQ and Reaper Block 5 drones were conducting patrol missions. Thousands of miles away at Creech Air Force Base in Nevada, the pilots controlled the drones, holding their breath as they monitored every millisecond through the satellite data link. They were the best honed by thousands of hours of simulated and real-world flight training, but in this moment, they were facing a scenario not covered in any Pentagon training manual. The order from Central Command CENTCOM had been issued: neutralize the unidentified target at all costs. But how do you hunt something you can't accurately identify? And what happens when your perfect weapon faces an impossible target? The real hunt now begins. 200 kilometers above Earth, a KH-11 Cannon reconnaissance satellite, the $10 billion eye of the National Reconnaissance Office (NRO), scans the Arabian Peninsula. Its photoelectric sensors detected an anomaly. These sensors are so sensitive that they can detect an object the size of a dinner plate from space. The intelligence data, encrypted and compressed, was transmitted as a narrow beam. The signal was sent directly into the Link 16 tactical data network. Immediately, all units in the combat zone received the imagery collected by the satellite. Off the coast of Yemen, an E-2D Hawkeye was flying a Figure 8 patrol at 10,000 feet. An air operations officer suddenly spotted a new target on the radar screen dubbed Bogey 1. What caught the officer's attention was the target's unusual speed and flight path. It was moving too slowly for a conventional jet, but its flight path was erratic and unstable, unlike a commercial drone. The information was processed at Creech Air Force Base. In the operations room, the pilot of Reaper 1 and his sensor operator analyzed the feed. The decision from the mission commander was swift and decisive. The MQ-9 squadron was given full authority to fire, and a paired combat plan was deployed. The Reaper-designated Viper 1 was assigned the role of gunner, responsible for launching weapons. The other Viper 2 would act as the spotter, tasked with locking on and providing laser guidance for the missiles. With the strategy set, the hunt officially began. The MQ-9 Reaper circled the sky, a patient predator. With the ability to fly continuously for over a day and carry 300 to 800 pounds of weapons, it completely dominated the combat zone. Meanwhile, the Link 16 network continuously transmits target data from around the world straight to the pilot's screen. The entire war machine is now synchronized, its electronic eyes locked on the target below. This target is completely different. It is not a conventional fighter jet or missile. According to intelligence, it is a new variant of the Shahed drone series produced by Iran. It is made almost entirely of special composite materials capable of absorbing radar waves. This makes its radar signature extremely small, equivalent to that of a bird. Compared to a Russian Su-35, a large hot lump of metal that is very easy to detect, this drone is virtually invisible. On the screen, it is only a weak and unstable signal. All conventional combat rules are inapplicable. The mission at this point is like trying to hunt a ghost. The second Reaper, Viper 2, took on the role of targeting. The operator pointed the MTSB camera cluster at the target and fired an invisible laser beam, locking it in the crosshairs. From an altitude of 25,000 feet, keeping this laser beam perfectly stable on a fast-moving target several miles away is an extremely difficult task requiring perfect coordination between human skill and technology. The pilot in the cockpit of Reaper 2 is focused on observing the clear data displayed on the electronic screen. On the screen, sharp HD images from the satellite show the target a sleek drone with no identifying features. The core task now is to illuminate the target with a laser beam. The pilot activates the laser designator, operating at a wavelength of 1.06 micrometers outside the visible spectrum of the human eye. On the screen, a green square indicating the laser's aiming point appears. The target drone is performing slight turns, its trajectory unstable. The pilot's left hand rests on the turret control stick, his right hand on the keyboard, entering the laser code. The AGM-114 Hellfire missile searches for a specific frequency to prevent jamming or interference. A green square locks onto the target drone. Laser on. He reports his voice calm. The Reaper's AI system begins working continuously, calculating and predicting the target's flight path with near-perfect accuracy, ensuring the laser beam never slips. After a few tense seconds, a synthesized voice rings out, "Lock stable." The pilot of Viper 2 confirmed,
I have stable lock. Target is illuminated. Viper 1, you have permission to engage.
It was Reaper 1's turn the aircraft assigned the attack role. Its pilot was also monitoring the target on the screen, but had complete trust in his teammate in the other Reaper. The pilot selected the weapon, an AGM-114R Hellfire missile. This was an upgraded version capable of flying up to 11 km and reaching a supersonic speed of Mach 1.3. Inside was a 100-pound high-explosive warhead designed to automatically seek out and lock onto the laser beam that his teammate was shining on the target. The pilot quickly pressed the red button on his control stick. Confirm weapon selection AGM-114R. After the sensor operator confirmed one last time that the target was locked, the pilot pressed the button. This missile operates like a javelin thrown in the dark. It relies entirely on the invisible laser beam that the other Reaper is projecting onto the target. Any error, however small, will cause it to veer off course. A flash of light appeared under the wing of Reaper 1, and the missile shot off, beginning its journey to destroy the target. The missile has left the launcher. Impact imminent. Separating from the Reaper's wing, the Hellfire plummeted for a brief moment. Immediately afterward, the missile's engine ignited, propelling it forward at a dizzying speed of over 460 meters per second. Throughout its journey, it clung tightly to the invisible laser beam that its Reaper comrade was shining directly at the target. On the screen in Nevada, they watched the tiny, extremely hot dot of the missile engine streak across the sky. The missile's guidance system performed a 20G maneuver, pitching up before diving down, attacking the drone from a high angle to ensure destruction. The controls on Reaper 2 continued to fine-tune the laser point, compensating for wind and target movement. Everything was perfect. Perfect geometry, perfect timing, a perfect collision. On the forward-looking infrared flyer screen, a feed that sees heat instead of light. The pilot braced for the fireball. The collision was confirmed when the Hellfire missile's heat signature merged with the target. The 100-pound warhead detonated as designed, creating a large and intense heat sphere confirming the complete destruction of the drone's structure. Based on initial data, the mission was deemed successful with the target neutralized. But that wasn't the end of it. Immediately after the heat ball from the explosion, dissipated infrared sensors and radar instantly detected an anomaly. From the center of the explosion, rather than debris falling freely, two smaller heat sources began to appear on the radar. These signals quickly formed a dispersed formation and simultaneously accelerated, changing course and heading straight for the maritime area below. The tactical situation changed completely in a matter of seconds. From a mission to destroy a single target, the MQ-9 Reaper Squadron now faced a much more complex consecutive attack requiring an immediate response to protect the high-value assets in the area. A new alert flashed on the tactical display screen, a red icon demanding immediate attention. The voice of the operations officer on the E-2D Hawkeye rang out over the Link 16 network, urgent and clear. Alert multiple new targets. Two new drones were quickly identified as Bogey 2 and Bogey 3, appearing from the east 10 nautical miles away, traveling at 180 knots. They had the same characteristics as the target that had just been destroyed. On the MFD screen, two new red dots appeared, moving rapidly across the tactical map. The artificial intelligence system immediately analyzed their trajectory and issued an alarming prediction they were heading straight for a Panamanian-flagged civilian cargo ship entering the main shipping lane of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The destruction of Bogey 1 appeared to be merely a decoy, or perhaps it had triggered a pre-planned attack. The air in the control room at Creech immediately thickened again. Satisfaction vanished, giving way to a higher level of alertness. The tactical picture had changed completely. From a single hunt, the situation had escalated into a much more complex scenario of defending against a swarm attack. The Viper Squadron, with only two Reapers, now faced two threats closing in, and the time to react was measured in seconds. The kill chain had to be restarted, but this time it had to operate on a larger scale and at a faster pace. The real attack was just beginning. The mission was reassigned. The second Reaper received orders to switch its targeting role to the priority target. The operator of the MTSB turret sensor quickly rotated it, beaming the laser directly at the most dangerous target and locking onto it. The hard-locked target information was transmitted to the first Reaper Viper 1. The pilot of Viper 1, after receiving confirmation, launched the first AGM-114R missile targeting Bogey 2. The missile fired rapidly and struck the target drone directly. While the first missile successfully completed its objective, the operator of the second Reaper swiftly shifted the laser beam to the remaining target. Just seconds later, the second target was locked on. Without hesitation, the Reaper launched the second missile. A few seconds later, the second missile also hit and destroyed Bogey 3. The entire swarm attack was neutralized in less than a minute after the new targets appeared. Both targets were destroyed before they could reach the cargo ship. The success of this defense demonstrated the effectiveness of combining human and machine capabilities. The AI performed threat analysis and prioritization at superhuman speed, allowing the human crew to focus on their core mission of targeting and eliminating threats. The effectiveness of the Hellfire missile warhead was also confirmed. The explosion created an extremely powerful shockwave sufficient to destroy the electronic systems and some fragile structures of the composite material drones. The lesson learned is that the tactic of coordinating a spotter aircraft with an attack aircraft is an effective method for countering simultaneous attacks by multiple UAVs. This engagement demonstrated the adaptability of the MQ-9 Reaper aircraft. From a vehicle primarily used for reconnaissance and counter-terrorism, it has shown its role as a frontline defense system capable of protecting important maritime routes. While the Reaper fleet excelled in its mission, the technological confrontation between the parties continues. Each engagement like this provides valuable data, helping both sides adjust tactics and develop new technologies. The U.S. kill chain has proven effective, but it must be continuously improved to counter increasingly sophisticated threats in the future. Do you think the spot shooter tactic is the optimal solution for countering a swarm of drones? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to follow deeper analyses of modern kill chains.